Hey, welcome to Growth Minded. I'm Ed Hayes. My mission for Growth Minded is to build a community of leaders committed to cultivating a positive attitude, creating a love of learning, and choosing to develop a growth mindset again and again. To stretch beyond our current abilities will require dedication, effort, and a belief in ourselves. The results include advantages, including comfort in taking risks, striving for goals outside of our comfort zone, greater motivation, greater cognitive development, lower stress, anxiety, and depression, better personal relationships, and higher performance levels. So if you sound interested, please hit that subscribe button and welcome to the Growth Minded community. In today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So a high-level overview of The Alchemist, it's a story of dreams. It's a story of a shepherd named Santiago, and he's in search of his dream throughout this novel. And it's a story of believing in yourself, and it's a story of persistence and grit, having a positive attitude, stretching beyond your current abilities. So it ties definitely right into the growth minded culture. So I'm looking forward to diving into that right now. So in The Alchemist, Coelho argues that we're in control of our lives and we each have a personal destiny and we have the choice to fulfill it. We have the choice to cultivate a positive attitude, create a love of learning, and develop a growth mindset to reach our personal destinies. So The Alchemist is it's a really influential book. It's had a major influence on my life. My sister lent me this book before I started my own journey into the unknown, similar to Santiago. So I moved to Massachusetts for work back in 2018, and this was a book that I'd reference as I adjust to a lifestyle without the comforts of home, leaving family and friends, girlfriend, and all the comforts of home in New Jersey, being 4 hours away. So it's definitely a spiritual book, and it's one that I hope you all can reference to build a belief and a confidence in yourself, as life will definitely throw a lot of uncertainties and challenges your way. So I even built a piece of this book into my daily mission statement, and it's helped me overcome many obstacles that life has thrown my way. So more on that mission statement, it's that I believe in myself, I believe in my personal destiny, I believe in cultivating a positive attitude, creating a love of learning, and choosing to develop a growth mindset again and again. So again, this book, uh, The Alchemist, has had a deep influence on my personal life, and I hope you all check it out on your time too, and hopefully it has the same impact on you. So 3 lessons from The Alchemist I'll jump into right now. It includes listening to your heart, marveling at creation, and emulating qualities of the wind. And that sounds a little interesting, so I'll save that for last. So the first lesson is to listen to your heart. So according to Coelho, wherever your heart is, that's where you'll find your treasure. So this is what the alchemist tells Santiago, his shepherd, his disciple. Santiago's heart is often tested as he finds it tempting to become attached to things like his sheep, his possessions, his treasure, and a woman that he meets in the desert. So the alchemist understands Santiago's fear of losing everything that he's won in his life in pursuit of his personal destiny. The alchemist argues, though, that once you understand your purpose in life, once you understand what your personal destiny is, your heart will always remind you. Your heart knows your deepest desires. So the alchemist argues that it's best to listen to your heart once you're aware of your purpose in life, as it will never stop reminding you. So the alchemist also explains that before a dream is realized, the world will test you with everything that you've learned along the way to help you realize your dreams, and also master the lessons of which you've learned along the way. He acknowledges that this test is where most people will give up. So it's important to have persistence and courage and enthusiasm even in the face of an uncertainty. There's a good quote in this book where the alchemist mentions, "One dies of thirst, just as the palm trees have appeared on the horizon." So the first lesson of the alchemist is to listen to your heart, as it will lead you to your deepest desires, even as culture, society, and peers, they may not believe in you, and they may not believe in the treasures that you have within you. And Santiago is an example of how we can build up a belief in ourselves by recognizing our strongest assets. For Santiago, these assets included his courage in giving up his sheep to live his personal legend and his enthusiasm to learn and grow with the world around him. So the next point we'll jump into is to marvel at the world around you. And there's a good anecdote in the story in The Alchemist of a wise man and a young man. The young man sets out to talk to the wise man to learn about the secret of happiness. He finally gets to speak to the wise man at his palace. The wise man hands over a spoon to the young man and he puts 2 drops of oil in it. He tells the young man, "I'm going to be back in 2 hours. Make sure that these drops of oil don't spill." He sets off. 2 hours come back, and the wise man returns, and he asks the young man what he's absorbed and what he's seen since the 2 hours have passed. And the young man's embarrassed. The young man says, "I've honestly just been focusing on this spoon that I haven't taken in too much. I really haven't taken in anything from your palace." So the wise man says, "Okay, I'll be back in another few hours. Take in everything around you. Try to enjoy the beauty of life, of creation, and of the scenery." So he sets off again. 2 hours pass. The wise man returns, and he asks, "What happened to the 2 drops of oil?" So the young man spilled those 2 drops of oil while he was taking in the scenery, the mountain ranges, the art, and the tapestries and the trophies that were a part of the wise man's palace. But he forgot the first request of the wise man was to hold on to those 2 drops of oil and to not forget about them. So to Santiago, this statement meant that a shepherd may like to travel, but he should never forget about his sheep. To the growth-minded community and the reader, our secret to happiness may be to explore the unknown, to venture out on our own personal destinies, and to never forget about the people, the places, and the moments that help to shape our lives. So that was the second piece, is to marvel at the world around us, but also never forget where you came from, never forget some of the responsibilities that you have to the world around you. So the final piece is to be like the wind. There's a deep quote in this book that says, "At a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate." According to Coelho, that's the world's greatest lie. As time passes, a mysterious force begins to convince people that it will be impossible for them to realize their personal legend. So Santiago, he survives the fear of losing his sheep, losing the woman he loves, losing his physical possessions and treasures, and even losing his life while he's in the desert. So throughout his quest, he was also influenced by catalysts who helped him along the way to help him through uncertainty, like the old king, the alchemist, and even the desert. So Santiago demonstrates a growth mindset as he again and again chooses growth in the face of uncertainty to fulfill his personal destiny. And the wind is a recurring theme and character in this novel. The wind reaches every corner of the world, and it symbolizes an attitude that we all should have, a lack of fear from losing attachment, from missing out on love or being forgotten, to forget all of that and to believe in ourselves fully. And Santiago is like the wind as he sacrifices some of the short-term goals for a longer-term personal destiny. And what's important about this lesson is that people can chase their dreams at any age with persistence, grit, and help along the way. And taking another step back for those who are in transitions in their own lives, whether it's just finishing up college or starting a new job or in between jobs, I think it's important to still feel what your heart's telling you, to still marvel at what you see in your day-to-day lives, and to fully believe in yourself, even even as society, culture, and peers may not believe in you. So Coelho argues that the only way to learn something is through making mistakes and paying attention to omens and signs in your life. He's better at explaining it, so it's definitely important to also check out this book if you're interested in learning more on that. But he argues that life doesn't revolve around you. However, when you want something, all of the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And I think that's one of the most powerful quotes that I read in The Alchemist. So the three lessons from The Alchemist that we touched on today is to listen to your heart, marvel at the wonders of creation, and not to buy into the world's greatest lie, to be like the wind, to believe in yourself fully, and the universe will help you along the way. So again, I mentioned that this book has had a profound impact on my life as I've made it a personal destiny and a personal mantra and a mission statement to believe in myself fully, to believe in my personal destiny. And I think that is to inspire others by creating a positive attitude, creating a love of learning, and choosing to develop a growth mindset again and again. And this book was I'm so passionate about this book that I created a playlist for it with songs that I think resonate. So songs that will inspire you or even have you kind of tap into like some of the fear that Santiago feels. So I'm gonna put some of those songs at the bottom of this episode. Definitely check those out. Comment on this episode if you have things that resonated with you, and yeah, definitely subscribe too at the end of this. So I'm Ed Hayes. This was Growth Minded. Thanks for listening. Share this across your network. Tap into your personal destinies, and I'll have another episode for you next Tuesday. Definitely check that out. Thanks a lot.